Hey, what's up? This is Kevin. Hey, this is the first video on my page, and it's actually a boxing video. Crazy, because I'm not like a boxing fan. I don't really follow boxing. I don't know a lot about boxing. There's a fighter from Baltimore, Gervonta Davis. I follow him because he's from Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. That's my guy. That's a Orioles hat right there. All right, so I follow him. I watch a few of his fights. He's pretty impressive. But as far as that, I'm not a boxing. I don't follow boxing at all. I mean, I don't even follow like the Tyson Fury and Wilder fights. I don't even think I didn't even watch those fights. I mean, last heavyweights I probably watched were maybe Tyson or something like that. I don't watch boxing like that anyway. I'm a football and basketball fan. Now that being said, is that a friend of mine, he's also partners with Gervonta Davis and their families. They somehow connected, whatever. He's not like a trainer or anything like that. He's just kind of, I don't know, he might be like a partner or something like that. He's not in the boxing, but he's, that's his guy, whatever the case may be. So anything I say is nothing is from Gervonta, nothing is from him. It's from a mutual friend that we had. That's all. But who's not really in the boxing either. But what he told me, what we were talking about is this Devin Haney and Floyd Mayweather and Gary Russell and Tank. And what's going on? See, first of all, there wasn't really a rift between Tank and Floyd Mayweather, because a lot of people said that, but Tank just didn't understand Floyd, and Floyd, laid down a few things to Tank about, that he wanted Tank to be successful. They ain't gotta be buddies, and just as far as he trying to make that money, and he wants Tank to want to make that money, and he's gonna make money as Tank goes. Just those type of things, right? And I think that they've come to a mutual understanding that they both want Tank to be successful. Okay, now we're gonna leave that alone for right now. But what it is that I guess me and my partner, we were watching Devin Haney's dad, Bill, and I'm a huge fan of Devin Haney. I'm of course, a huge fan of your Tank. And not so much Gary Russell. I don't know a lot about him, but I'm not really a big fan of Gary Russell. I don't like him or dislike him. I don't know. He's from D.C., and Baltimore and D.C. people got a different, funny type of relationship. But what happened is that, like I say, I'm a huge fan of Devin Haney's, because I think he's the truth. He's the future. But what happened is Bill Haney, his dad, had come up, somehow in an interview, he was talking like Gary Russell had called out Devin Haney, and now he's backing up. They call him Mr. Cap or something. Like he called him, and then me and my boy was like, "Oh, wait a minute." Devin Haney called out Gary Russell. Gary Russell didn't call out Devin Haney, and what happened was Devin Haney kind of got himself in something that ain't had nothing to do with him. There was some type of beef between Bud Crawford and Gary Russell. So Gary Russell said, man, I fight you for 1.5 and all this stuff, because Gary Russell was like 126 and Bud Crawford might be like 147. He's a lot bigger than him. Whatever case they be, they're in different weight classes. And Gary was like, yeah, I'll fight you for, whatever. 1.5 million. That's where that 1.5 million came up. So at this point, Devin Haney had nothing to do with it. Devin Haney put his mouth into it and said, hey, I'll fight you, Gary Russell, for the 1.5. So that's where Bill Haney lied. Devin Haney clearly put himself into it. But we're going to leave that alone for right now. What happened after that was, shortly after that, Devin Haney got a call from Floyd. And Floyd told him and his dad, under no uncertain terms, don't fight Gary Russell, because, he felt Gary Russell was damaged goods. He felt Gary Russell is not worth the trouble. He's like fighting Sean Crawford. I think that's his name. That, you got to put in a lot of work if you fight a guy like that. If you fight Gary Russell, it's going to be a tough fight. Even if you get the win, you're not going to win because he's a smaller guy. And if you lose, you're through. So Floyd Mayweather said, no matter what happens, y'all can't fight him. It's over. Y'all can't fight him. So then, so Floyd Mayweather told him that, but he ain't really, Floyd ain't really getting involved with it. He just said no. And Floyd doesn't really have a connection with Devin Haney like that. They're not really, in business together. It's just like a big brother, like, no, it's bad for business. Okay, so Devin Haney and his dad has been spending the last few weeks trying to make it look like Gary Russell don't want to fight them when it's really them, because it's a bad fight for Devin Haney. That's why they don't want, and Floyd also, if you see any interviews with Devin Haney or Gervonta Davis, it is understood that Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis will never fight each other. Floyd wants both of them to continue on, and he wants to, like the Charlo brothers, he wants them to be undefeated. He don't want them to. The only way Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis will ever fight is if both of them lose. Because if one of them lose, they still won't fight each other. If both of them have a loss on their record, then there's an opportunity for them to meet up. But until that happens, they will not fight each other. So Floyd put a nix to that. But anyway, like I'm saying, is that it's a mess. That's all I'm saying. It's a mess, and that's all I'm gonna say for right now.